I don't see it. That didn't catch up.
We have to care about agents. Screaming at a drag show, so. Right, I'm like, okay.
The pizza boxes.
Right.
So we.
Good to go. Yeah, I also have to go. It is what it is. Anyway, we're here. I'm here back on the mic with Travis Moore, originally our head TC, but now has just been upgraded, given a great promotion, which much needed promotion, is the director of operations here at the DJ Lindsey team. Welcome.
Yeah, thanks. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah. So we, on multiple other podcasts, we've talked about you, and it's like no one's done more deals than Travis because being the head transaction coordinator, literally we take all that responsibility kind of away from our agents. So you were literally seeing every single deal walk through here. And of course, in the last year, doing 3,000 of them, we review them, all these other things. You now have seen that. But you didn't just start as a transaction coordinator here. You started somewhere else. So let's get into your history. Let's start where you're from and kind of work our way there. So where are you originally from?
I'm from a really small town called McGraw. It's up in New York. No one's ever heard of it. It's 1 mile by 1 mile and ain't much to do.
I love that. Yeah, I'm from a 1 mile by 1 mile town in New Jersey. Same thing. There'd be no reason you would know of it. Yeah. So what brought you down here?
So I had a friend that I worked with in New York that we got really close, and she moved down to St. Augustine.
Okay.
I came down to visit a few times, had never been to Florida before, and I was just like, oh, wow,
why am I
this is
leaving?
better. Yeah, why am I living in a little small town
Right.
where it's cold? I don't like the snow.
What
so
age
yeah.
was that, you think? 22, 21?
Yeah, I came down here in like 2015, I think.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Yeah.
Yep.
Good year.
Yeah.
Good year. So you come down here on a whim. You're just like picking up. What are you doing at the time that you then either did you pick up here doing that same thing?
Yeah, so I've worked in hotels for a while. I worked at
Okay.
a resort up in New York. And when I came down here, I took a few weeks to kind of assess what I was going to do.
Sure.
Had a friend, luckily, that I could stay with, so I could do that, take that time.
Right. Not worry about rent.
Yeah, exactly. And I just started applying to hotels. My very first job, I was an assistant general manager at a Comfort Suites in St. Augustine
Okay.
for a while. And then I went to work at the Casa Monica downtown.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Rock and roll.
Yeah.
I have. I wonder if you worked there. I don't know. It's the last name's 𝙙𝙤𝙧𝙚. Yeah.
Doesn't ring a bell.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of people there. So
Well, that's why I didn't know, because I know she started there and then she moved from, and she was over at the Treasury and other things because, again, being in hospitality,
yeah.
it's kind of like a, hey, I'm here, I want to go to here. And move.
Yeah, you move around a lot. Yeah.
Right. So now hospitality, again, service industry position, not that unfamiliar with real estate. So what made the jump to be like,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I was the front desk supervisor at Casa Monica, and I was really sick of getting badgered every day from unhappy guests. Working
sure.
till sometimes 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning if someone
Right.
would call out, and I was just ready for something different.
Right.
Ready for something bigger.
And where did real estate? You're just like real estate, or
Well, yeah, actually, one of my really close friends that worked at the front desk as well. She went to work in a front desk position at a real estate company,
okay.
and so she kind of had the in of like what's going on.
Director of first impressions.
Literally, that was her job title. You got that, yeah, literally.
Yep.
And so she kind of had the in of like knowing who was who in the real estate community. And at that time, there was a team that was doing really, really well, and they still are. They're awesome. And she said you should go talk to them. You should go. Had never even thought about real estate before, honestly,
Right.
and didn't even know really what it all entailed. And she said you should go talk to them. They're hiring. They have a lot of good training. They're really well known. So I just did one day.
Right. On a whim, just.
Yeah, met with them and literally met with them. They said, yeah, you want to come join us? And I said, yeah, let me go put in my 2 weeks.
Sweet. So now when you walked over there, what did you start doing?
So at first I was what's called a showing assistant. So
Okay, great.
I was assisting another realtor, one of their top realtors, just helping keep their systems tight, follow up emails, anything they needed me to do, really.
Perfect.
Run around.
Right. So you got a pretty good understanding that real estate is a no off switch sport.
Yeah.
And
Very
is
quickly.
Yes, very, very quickly.
Yeah.
When did you kind of start seeing deals, seeing transactions, handling that stuff?
Yeah.
How did that come about?
I was probably showing assistant for almost a year or so. And then I started actually being a buyer's agent, taking on my own buyers.
Okay.
Got a lot of experience as an assistant and as the buyer's agent.
Sure, right.
And I just realized that, that wasn't for me. I wanted to do something maybe a little bit more. I wanted to be more behind the scenes and being able to manage and help more people than just my own customers.
Right.
And so on the team that I was on, they had an opportunity for a transaction coordinator. Before being on this team, I didn't even know what a transaction coordinator was. I never had heard of it before. And I was like, yeah, I want to do that. It's involved in everyone's transactions. It's helping, a bunch of customers and helping all of the agents on the team.
Right.
And I was like, I definitely think that would be for me.
And obviously it comes with, a lot of people do love the challenge of problem solving, and it's a very big problem solving position.
Yes.
And you still get, we'll call it face-to-face, but you still get face-to-face with the client. You still get, but instead of like walking in and out of strangers' homes, trying to build a relationship, you're handed the relationship, said, hey, here, here's Diane and Debbie or whatever it is. They're going to be X, Y, Z. So that's great. So how long were you kind of doing that? So you walk in, you're like, okay, real estate as far as showing, buyer's agent, not for me. I'm in the transaction coordinating field. How long did that?
Yeah, it was about 2.5 years or so with the other team.
Serious work, right?
Yeah, and they, like I said, they were the top team at the time, and it's funny because I loved them. I learned a lot there, and honestly, I wasn't leaving because I was unhappy or like it wasn't going well. I just knew that I wanted to be part of something more. I wanted to make a little bit bigger dent in what I was doing,
Love that.
and that's kind of I used to check every day at like who was the top agent in the area, and at first the team that I was on was right up there. They held steady for a very long time, and then slowly I just saw DJ and Lindsey like creeping up. Every month they would be a little closer to us, a little closer to us, and then all of a sudden they were right there with us, and I was just like, "What's going on over there?" Like it was serious FOMO, and I was like, "What the heck is going on?" And so I just kept watching them.
Yeah.
And being like that, they were number one, we were the number one, we were right there, neck and neck. We did a lot of deals in between the two. Like I was a transaction coordinator on the other side for a lot of deals here.
So you got to see us a little bit more so before you even came here. Wow. Okay, that's interesting.
And there was a couple agents that were on the team that I kind of built a good rapport being the transaction coordinator. And I remember just texting one of them one day, and I was like, hey, do you guys have transaction coordinators really? Because, sometimes they'd have one, sometimes they wouldn't. It just depended on the agent. And I was like, if you guys have something like that, like I would be really interested in like talking to you guys a little bit more. And at first they were like, yeah, well, we've got something kind of going on, but we're not hiring right now.
Right.
So I was like, all right, no worries. We'll stay in touch. And one day, literally, I was driving home from work and I get a call from the agent, and he was like, hey, are you available right now? And I was like, yeah, what's going on? And he's like, no, like to come here, like right now. And I was like, yeah, I can be there at this time. He's like, oh, that doesn't work. And he was like, can you be here tomorrow at 5? Perfect. I'll be there tomorrow at 5. And showed up to the St. Augustine office to meet with DJ and Lindsey.
Tell me you're in real estate without telling me you're in real estate. Hey, are you available right this second?
Right now. Let's go.
Not really. Okay, wow. So I didn't know that that's how you found us, but that's really cool too that you were working essentially with us this whole time, and then you're like, how can I kind of peek inside further? So you meet with DJ and Lindsey, and we kind of came on at the same time because it was, I think it was no joke, it was Megan, front desk, then myself were like the 3 W-2s that this company had. And then it was you and then Reagan.
Yeah, I started in like March of 2020. Literally, I put in my 2-week notice, and as I was finishing up my 2 weeks, it was when everything shut down. Literally, my first day at this office was like 4 people were in the office, all like spaced out kind of. There was like everyone was working from home at that point.
Right, and they allowed people to still go in there, internet, whatever you needed.
Because I obviously was brand new. I needed to train. I needed to like know your guys' systems and what was going on. And I was like, oh crap, what did I just do?
Yeah, right. I shoot myself. I mean, that's the one good thing about them though, is even when that did happen, DJ had a conversation with me and he's like, listen, I don't know what's going to happen, but I don't want to get rid of you. So he's like, let's figure out how we can hold on to you and make sure that you're happy and we're happy, because I know that if this thing does turn around, I don't want to be stuck here and be like, everyone come back, and everybody has figured out where they've already gone.
I got a call. It was literally like my last day at the other place, and I think I had 2 days before I had started here. And he gave me a call, and he's like, so you've been watching the news? And I'm like, yeah. And in my head, I'm going, how's this call going to go?
Right.
Do I need to call my old job back?
No, I mean, they're great.
No, it was awesome. It was a really good, like, he had a plan, and he said, if you're on board, like, we want to bring you on, and we want to go forward. And so I was like, I'm here for it. At this point, like, I'm jumping head first.
Wow. So we had a remote transaction coordinator that I just found out kind of in our pre-discussion was a fully remote, fully like a la carte thing that I guess DJ and Lindsey were taking care of as a part of like the commission and split and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I know that as we were building, right? Same thing. They were using photography outside of this. We're building, bringing everything in house. I didn't realize. I just thought she was a part of us, and you're like, no, we need to bring everything in house. And I remember when the three of us, me, you, and Reagan, all were working in constantly at different desks because we were always moving.
Yeah.
You and DJ were talking a lot, and I'm sure it was about the army that you guys built on the other side of this wall.
Yeah. So we knew that there was going to be a big plan. There was going to be a lot of growth.
Right.
And we knew that to be able to do that, we had to bring everything in house. We had to be able to really offer more to our agents, at the time. And even now, we had to build a good foundation. And to be able to do that, we all had to work together here in the office. And so made some changes and move forward. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we stuck it out through COVID. I mean, this company has just absolutely charged through. I mean, some companies have just had absolutely awful years, and we've just
unfortunately.
Unfortunately, but and that's what Reagan and I had the same task of, like, how do we market that we're doing really well and that we're helping in a time when this is not happening. So here you are interviewing these people, talking about giving opportunity out, and bringing a ton of great talent in here. I mean, Dana, like that whole crew is just absolutely lights out. So and
we're still growing. I mean, it's crazy.
Still.
Even now, we've brought on a new transaction coordinator. Literally, probably since I was about 3-4 months, we've continually brought one on every 3 to 4 months.
Yeah.
Just because the growth has demanded it, which has been amazing.
Yeah, which is great because as the agents receive more training, they complete more deals, they execute more contracts. You need the help. I mean, I remember, it was you, then it was you and Dana, and it was just it just kept compounding, and it's just crazy to see it grow. And I remember when, even in that room, it was only like 6 or 7 of you,
right?
And the desks were arranged how they were. And looking back, I have like an old picture somewhere, and we just laugh. It's like
it's office Tetris.
Yeah, it's crazy the amount of work and just Tetris and rearranging that's gone through. So now you have not so much stepped away; it's still under your belt, but you've moved into this director of operations position, which is great because, again, we go back to no one's done more deals than Travis, especially seeing them walk through 2-3 years over at your old spot, and now you're working on 2 years here. You're going on 2 years
and
here.
I mean, last year we did 3,000. I had a hand in a lot of those.
Yeah,
obviously got really good at delegating and really good at leaning on the TC team. But I look back at like Dana and I, when it was just the two of us. I mean, there was times when each of us had 60, 70, and at one time I had 115 files. And so it's fun. It's crazy. You learn a lot very quickly. And we even say that for the agents. An agent here learns as much as a realtor anywhere else. Like, they learn it in their first 3 months, what someone else is learning in the first year and a half.
Yeah. I mean, Lewis said the same thing. He's like, I needed to go to a place where I got a year and a month of basically experience as fast as I could. I'm like, well, this is the spot. There's no other place to look because that's it. The amount of just volume that comes through here and the amount of attention you and your team gives to the clients is crazy, but it's also paramount because that's why we have the reviews we have. It's good customer service, and that's what DJ Lindsey built this entire company on, right? It's just like the backbone of giving that 5-star white glove service to the consumer when they need it.
And not even just the consumers, but if you look at the growth, I mean, we've been able to give, there's 10 of them in there now. That's 10 positions of people that maybe wouldn't have had a job before.
Right.
And also, with myself growing into the leadership team and now being a mentor with the agents, we've pulled up 2 of our other transaction coordinators that have kind of been there the longest.
Yes.
And they're now leading the rest of the transaction coordinators. We've been able to really trickle down that growth. And on top of that, Dana, who was our first hire after me, she's now transitioned into our compliance manager. So that's she is awesome. Reviewing all of the contracts. She is reviewing all of the dot loops. Everything that goes through the brokerage gets a second look to make sure that everything's good to go. And so it's just cool to see that growth really trickle down to the other people who've been working really hard right along with us.
And that's what we're just talking about. So you were at the other shop for 2 or 3 years. Here, we're just inside. March will be your 2-year mark.
Yeah.
We're just inside, and this is what's happening here.
Yeah,
so now Dana has made the move because she was after you inside of that, from just a general TC up to her position, and now you have leapt from TC, head TC, to director of operations because of the growth and the constant. I mean, that's what it's the opportunity, right? So like, could have been your position to just be like, hey, that's way over my head. I don't want to do that. But it's like, that's what you left your other place for, and then immediately received it. And that's what we always talk about here. I mean, it's probably the number one thing I talk about here is nothing is just like said, and then it's just like, goes away in the wind. It's always just like, hey, if it comes out of their mouth, you better expect that to happen.
Right. Yeah, no, DJ and Lindsey said from the start, like, we want you to build a team. and then we want you to manage that team, and then we want you to keep going.
Right.
And literally every step of the way, they haven't forgotten that. They've kept that promise, you know, to the, like, if you put in the work, this is what we're going to do. And they do that across the board. Even with the agents, you can see our agents, they level up time over time. They go from 2 or 3 pending to 6 pending to 8 pending. It's like, if you put in the work and you do it,
It will
and
happen.
you want it, it'll happen.
Yeah, Josh Kassoon is a great case study of that,
Yeah.
right? Just in here, hey, I don't know what's happening, this, that. And he was only here 30 days. It was a 30-day review.
Right.
Only here 1 month. He's like, I don't know what it is, man. I just this, that, and the other. And they're just like, all right, well, why don't we do this? And we envision this. We do these couple things right. And immediately went from 0 to, I think it was like 7 pending, like that.
It's
right
crazy.
before the holidays, too, which is already notoriously a difficult time.
Right.
Things slow down. People put their stuff on hold. It's obviously a huge objection that we obviously go over with our agents, which you have a hand in, which I think is paramount, that you not only are hand-holding these things, but you're also teaching the training. So even if you're not dealing with these people one-on-one, which you do in mentorship, it's a matter of constantly spreading that knowledge week in and week out with these agents in our classes, and then the different level courses too. You know, a 101 course, a 201 course, because there is a learning curve when it comes to certain things that if you overload an agent too much, which we've seen, a lot of things get lost. It's just it's scrambled.
We're very big on trying to divvy out the trainings. You know, we have them spread throughout the month, and you know, we are always adding to that and compounding. I mean, you said we now have Reagan teaching a social media class and like a self-marketing class. We're always trying to bring new things to the agents, because between Brett, Brittany, and myself, we see what the agents need. We're talking to them literally every single day. I mean, that's why I left my phone outside, because I was like, if not, it's going to go off this whole time we're in here.
Yeah.
And so just always being able to level up and, you know, keep adding to what they can grow on is huge. I mean, that's why most of them are so successful.
Absolutely. And I think you are paramount when it comes to this team's success. I really don't think that we would be as smooth and as big as we would be without you, because you're right. We find these holes, we find these things, and you've literally fit that niche. You're like, hey, I'm going to work my tail off, whether I'm compensated for or not, because I care about it. And then that's immediately what happens. It's like, boom, just keep leveling up. You just came in here, hey, I'm the Dress TC. Then you start interviewing people, started hiring people, like, okay, I guess I'm a hiring manager now. Move, and you just keep
do whatever is needed at the time, and it always pays off in the end.
That's it.
And I mean, we're all here for it. We're here for like the greater goal of like the majority of us moving forward.
Right.
And as a group and together, and, you know, everyone being really successful.
Yeah. So anyway, dude, thank you so much. Obviously, we love you here. Let's get that phone, because it's probably going off the hook.
Yeah, it's probably, I need to go get it. It's probably already broke, honestly.
Yeah, it's probably going absolutely bananas. Well, anyway, thank you, Travis. Like, subscribe, follow us everywhere, DJ and Lindsey, and you'll keep hearing great stories like this. And as we keep interviewing our staff, you'll get to know us, and maybe one day you'll be a part of the team. All right? Thanks, guys.